The next part of the tour leads you up to the facility, like the top of the spire. And Boomer would be ushered. Boomer and Go-Go, you guys would be ushered out of the testing room. Like, it's only for like the tour portion, and then they close it off again and clean it up for the next tour portion. Right? That's basically how it works. So being ushered out of like the testing and research facility, you're back in the workshop area. Go-Go does fine with heights. I think Boomer did mention something at some point that he didn't do really great with heights. I could be wrong about that though, but I remember that being a thing. So I think Boomer would say that he's not going to go. But Go-Go, you could totally, like, there's not a whole lot of trouble that Boomer could get into anymore. He's kind of like, he's probably more ingrained with like his own research and like reviewing the photos and like trying to draw up schematics of his own. But you could totally like stay with him and be bored still if you want.
No, Gogo wants to see the view.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So the three of you then, leaving Boomer to salivate over his compad and arm mounted device. Which I should just get the actual name of it. What's it called? The Horizon. That's what he calls it. To salivate over his new shots and imagery that he received. You guys are led to the not the lobby area, but like it's clearly like the level just above the lobby area that you entered. And you can see that large like marble looking thing where like it's got those like air bubbles and stuff inside of it. Now that you're like right here like by it, you can see on this level appears to be like the original ground level of where this facility was built. Like it's the original like entry level of it. And when you get there, you can see that there are these like elevator shafts that lead up into this this large like marble looking thing. And I think that now what you couldn't see before is this bubble essentially inside of the three spires is actually slightly moving, like almost as if it were a droplet of water trapped in zero gravity that has been like stretched by these spires and leads downward. And it has like, the motion is very slow. It's not like wobbly and wibbly, like it doesn't move around a whole lot, but the motion is enough that you can see it kind of like almost flex and contract and constrict in certain places and expand in certain places. And it's like, it's really fucking weird to look at. Like, looks like a giant, like I said, drop of water essentially. And as you get up there, the tour guide like says to you, she's like, so unfortunately not a whole lot is known. This technology is simply beyond our capabilities, but as you can see, and she like walks you guys over to the elevators. The elevators are simply a safe way to reach the peak of the spire. They are guided along by this, well, they call it a substance, and she like motions up to the moving methodical, but it has properties very much like glass. It is hard to the touch, and it appears to be almost unbreakable with any device or anything that we've ever been able to put against it. And so that's one of the reasons why its properties are fairly unknown. And I'm sure there's like a passing of looks between the crew, like, what? And so you guys are like positioned in like essentially a glass elevator, and the glass elevator begins to ascend, and as you see, it ascends through this like this tube that is actually in contact with the glass bubble, and the glass bubble appears to like move around it. It doesn't like intersect with it at all. It doesn't break it at all. It doesn't go inside of it at all. The tube almost runs like, it's almost like the glass bubble almost like morphs around this object that's inside of it.
Huh.
And so the object inside of it too, I should mention, is very clearly like manufactured after the fact. It's almost like it was like not because it wasn't drilled, right? It wasn't like drilled up through this glass thing because they're not able to break it with any technology that they have. But they're able to like shift it in certain ways so that they were able to build this tube that runs up through the middle of it now and gets you to the peak of the spire. And so I think that like as you're going up, the tour guide explains this to you about how like it was one of the greatest technological advances of the Priamese, and like very like proud, kind of like, you know, we did a thing that like most other places couldn't have done, and that's really prideful for me because, you know, we're generally considered to be lesser beings, right? And so like it's very clearly like a point of pride for them, and like the other Priamese in the elevator are like nodding and like, you know, agreeing or whatever. And she's not coming off as like pretentious, but it's like a you know, we did a thing, we're not useless, you know. And so you may or may not pick up on that, but as the tube travels upwards, you can see closer now like this. It kind of the glass bubble kind of distorts your view of the outside. It also gives you a very false sense of depth perception. So as you travel, it doesn't really seem like you're traveling up at all, because it's all kind of clear, but like also a little bit distorted around you. When you finally do reach the top and the elevator dings, you emerge into a like glass dome that's been constructed at the top of this elevator, and it kind of like intersects with the three different spikes that come to a point right above you. And as you emerge out, you guys can move over to the edge, and you see the glass dome is probably not so much to protect people from like falling off, but it's probably to keep atmosphere because you guys are so high now. And again, it was a little bit distorted coming up in the first place, but you guys are so high now that like you're at a height that probably you would not be able to survive without an oxygen tank for very long. It's as tall as, you know, it's like immediately ascending from sea level to the peak of Mount Everest. Your body probably wouldn't be able to handle that very well, doing it in such a short period of time. So that is probably more the reason for the giant glass dome at the top of this peak.
Oscar's just taking this all in, I think.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool and awe-inspiring is the goal here.
I would like to pull out my survey scanner.
Okay, yeah. So you pull out your survey scanner and like you take it takes a while to like catch up with what just happened, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's always kind of on. But it takes a while to catch up, and indeed it shows you to be multiple thousands of feet above sea level of this particular planet. And the survey scanner also scans like topographical information as well.
Precisely.
It shows you like the three, like it does like the ping, right? And it shows you the three spires that go down, and it shows you the constructed areas, but it shows nothing for the glass bubble. Wherever the glass bubble is, it doesn't show that as a thing that it can read. Like, it shows it as just empty space. So, according to the survey scanner, you are a straight line of tubing in a glass dome, and then the three spires that go back down to the surface.
That's interesting.
Everything in between the spires and the tubing is nothing. It just looks like air to the survey scanner. Which probably means either it can't detect it, it either passes, like the ping passes right through it, so it assumes it's air, or like it's just so alienly technological that the survey scanner doesn't even know what to do with it, so it just classifies it as air.
Yeah. It says, I don't know what that is. That's nothing.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you do have scans, so you could show Boomer late, the next time he's here, and perhaps get his opinion on it. But the view is quite gorgeous. You can see the entire landscape from up here, essentially, in all directions. Now, it's not quite as awe-inspiring as, like, flying in a ship over it, so, like, it may feel a little bit dull to you guys, but what you have to understand is the Priamese don't go to space that often. And so this is, like, crazy for those Priamese that are with you. They're, like, faces pushed up against the glass. Like, one of them is probably, like kind of, like, holding his chest, like, in the middle, like, didn't realize how high up he is, and now he's, like, freaking out a little bit. And, like, a couple of, like, the children are, like, running around and, like, looking, and, like, there's oohs and ahs and pictures being taken, and, like, you can hear someone say, "Oh my god, I think that's my neighborhood," you know, like, there's that going on. For you guys who are regular space travelers, like, that's not really a huge deal, but it's very clear that this is a huge deal to them. And this is, like, a very important part of their, like, culture.
And you said we're up there with a tour guide, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's up there. She's kind of, like, just, like, she's kind of, like, perusing around, like, monitoring the different groups that are up here and, you know, answering questions and that kind of stuff.
I would like to ask a few questions.
Sure, yes. And she says, yes. What can I do for you?
This is my first time on this planet here, and I was just wondering, like, what's in the different directions here? Like, what's out that way? I see some stuff over there. What is that?
Teagard is the largest settlement. It is the capital of our planet. Outside of the greater settlement area, there are many farmers that take up residence in some of the more fertile lands, but as far as mass population, there is not much. I am told it is similar to what we call a continental planet, where there are multiple different biomes. Although I will admit that most of it is unexplored, at least from our perspective as Priamese, you understand, we have no need to progress much farther than this, and being essentially located is much easier for us to gain supplies from those from the outside, such as yourselves.
Which way is least explored from here?
Well, that's really hard to say. Not a lot of, and I excuse the term, but not a lot of no-like explorers pass along their information to us, as they don't see fit that is our knowledge to know if we can't do it ourselves, which I understand completely. It is a valid representation, and the government has made many great steps to attempt to colonize other regions of the planet. However, simply our technology just and our reproductive rates, you understand, aren't very cohesive for larger scale and supply runs to different parts of the planet. But I would say probably the other side of the planets immediately from here is probably the least explored. Our at least by us, our technology allows us to scan it with our satellites. But as far as actual, what do they say, boots on ground, it's not very conducive to that.
Is there I'm very interested in this planet. I like the way it's hold on, landscape.
I like your shit.
Is set up. Yeah, pretty much. Is there any way to see what your satellites have picked up? Is that something that's visible to the public?
Yeah, so she's like, well, we can provide you with geographical maps. Those are free to the public, but if you're talking about direct information, no, I'm sorry, I wouldn't know the process to access that. You'd have to speak with a government official.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, if you have topographical maps, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I believe there may be some in the gift shop, but I believe they're also freely available if you. And she gives you like a primitive website address, right, to go to like
www.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like
wait, what?
the Priam Earth is, you know, the equivalent of Google Earth basically.
Yeah,
is what she gives you. But again, it's just like Google Earth, where in like the non-populated areas, it's kind of just like you can zoom into about 100 miles up. that's like okay. It, right? Like there's not a whole lot of like there's no street view for a lot of places, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you can tell if there's land clearing or was land clearing.
Yeah, absolutely. Depending on how long ago it was, obviously.
Yeah.
Yep. No, totally.
All right.
You could study
Cool.
that for multiple hours to see if you could find anything on it, for sure.
Yeah. So I take that information,
Cool.
and then I'll be buying a topographical map when we get to the gift shop.
Cool, yeah. Awesome. Does anybody else interact with anything else going on up here, or you guys just take it all in as an awe-inspiring moment?
I mean, Fortune kind of just covered what Oscar had intended to do.
Sure.
Basically, I think they're very much on the same wavelength here. It's like, yes,
Let's go find
beautiful.
some more of those things
Yeah,
that you just showed us that you haven't found yet.
Like, lovely museum. Where is the rest of it? Like,
Yeah.
where do we find shit like this?
Sure, yeah.
So he, despite having just been trapped underground for a solid week, I think they're both itching to go do some tomb raiding again.
Yeah, I know I'm on a planet that at least at one point was TL5,
Uh-huh.
and is not wanting to be explored by too many people because they're afraid of what's on the planet. So there's probably a lot of stuff to find. At least that's my thought
Could be.
process.
Yeah, it's definitely a good bet for that thought process, for sure.
So
Definitely a good bet. Cool, yeah. So after that, Gogo, you don't have anything while you're up there?
No, but she is trying to figure out how possibly to get some of this glass stuff to put in a bubble around her room on the ship. But she realizes that's probably not going to happen, so...
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's probably
She just
impossible
kinda-
with the technology available to you currently.
Yeah, I know, she's kind of like, snaps her fingers and walks away from it.
Yeah.
snapping fingers, that leads me to a question that is really off topic. Can you snap with your mechanical arm?
Hell yeah.
It sounds
But
like
it makes like a metal against metal
I would say
scraping
like a
sound though.
clink sound. Yeah. That's awesome.
Clink.
Okay.
Which actually is why she does it probably more often.
This will
It's a
annoy more
horrible
people.
sound. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Mhm.
Perfect.
Awesome. Okay.
Cool. So the group of you pile back into the elevator, and the tour's kind of done. Like they kind of just like let you be up here as much as possible, and then they say, "Hey, the elevator's going down. Anyone that wants to leave, you'll have to wait, X amount of time before the elevator comes back up again. Et cetera, et cetera." And most people do get in at that point, but there are probably still a few holdovers that are like, no, I want to stay up here for another 20 minutes or whatever. I want to see if I can find stuff, and I haven't taken pictures of this particular angle, et cetera, et cetera.
I haven't found my home yet.
Right, yeah. And so, like,
Do all the Instagramming.
the elevator heads back down, and bing, hits the bottom floor, and you guys get out. And you see Boomer's, like, staring up at, like, the glass stuff, just, like, mouth agape. He's holding, like, his left arm, like, up really high so that he can get as close as possible to it. And you can see, like, there's, like, lights and stuff flickering from his Horizon gear thing. I assume you guys retrieve him.
Yeah, I'd be like, so what's up, Boomer?
Yeah, we gather Boomer and I think continue on our business.
Go puts him over her shoulder and walks out as he's like...
I was saying pull him by the collar, but then realized we were wearing exosuits and realized that probably wasn't.
Yeah. You accidentally rip his helmet off and now he's a mushroom person. Congratulations.
Yeah, that seems like something goes over.
Hey, Will, guess what?
Yeah, Will, you know what you get for not being here? You're now a mushroom person.
Congratulations!
Cool. So you grab a Boomer, you wrap him up and tie his arms together and make sure he can't grab anything on his way out. You pick up a map. It's not any significant amount of credits, and you guys head back out to the car and you physically stuff Boomer in and close and lock the door and put the child lock on so he can't get out. And you see him, like, attempting to disassemble the door for a moment with his multi-tool so that he can get back out. Go, you slap him in the hands and knock his multi-tool out, and you can see the tears welling up in his eyes and his bottom
I feel like
pouty
you would
lip.
slap him again
Yeah,
at that point.
his bottom pouty lip is, like, really far out. He basically looks like an anime character at this point.
And Gogo just looks at him and is like, "You know that doesn't work on me, right?"
You do the close eyes and get the angry symbol above your head. Yeah, cool. And that's essentially the Perceptor Archive in a nutshell. Some perhaps valuable information and was given.
Well, perhaps just enough information was given to find out that there's a lot more information that's needed.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. Just made it exponentially actually more, but that's fine.
Well, it's a good example of, I mean, if we went and it was all stuff that was like completely mundane,
This
I don't
is a
think
spoon.
that I don't think
This
that we
is
would
a
be scouting.
iron. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this was used for TL5 dry cleaning.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I guess I'm done here. Yeah, I guess we're already in the car though. I'd probably while we're in the car, I'd be like, so we're going to the other side of the planet now, right?
We should perhaps secure work first. Have we decided which of these agencies we are going to assist?
I didn't even look at the list yet.
Oh, you weren't here when I gave you who's on.
Oh
the
no,
list.
I was here. I was here.
Oh, okay.
Fortune, however, doesn't care.
Yeah, Fortune is now very interested in going to explore some places that haven't been explored yet.
Yeah, so again, just to reiterate, there's a Total Alliance contract, there's a Rahani Band contract,
there's
a probably
a local.
Yeah, I'll just name them real quick. It's probably Moglai is the Moglai Exports is the name of the mining people. And the...
Do we have details about where the drop-off points are for these? Or is it just information about
so there's addresses listed for their offices for you to show up and do work. Or there's probably contact information, right? Like a phone number, email address, etc., etc.
I think Jordan said at the beginning that we don't know any information about the jobs yet, just these people are looking for people to do work.
Yeah, it's like a classified that says, need one person, need transport for goods off-world, call X number. Signed. Whatever. And
So if you look at the list, you'll see that in pink pen, the Rahani Band one is already circled somehow mysteriously.
And then the last one is the Church of Creationism. Is the religious, the local religious that wants transport of goods as well.
Well, if we're dead set on doing work, I guess.
I think convenient work that we can take care of on the way back. Yes.
Yeah, we should find out the drop-off locations for each one of these and see which one works best.
Okay.
Sure. Well, maybe on the way back, if there's no strong feeling about any of them, Oscar would start messaging these people and trying to get further details. Let's just say he calls up the mining operation first.
Sure. Yeah. You get a fairly gruff individual on the phone and says, yeah, you've reached Moglai Exports. Where he probably what is the
the catch.
Yeah,
the
I'm trying to think of the tagline for Moglai Exports.
He probably just Moglai Exports.
Yeah, he probably says Moglai Exports. This is Stephanopoulos.
Wait, his name is Moglai Stephanopoulos?
No, he said Moglai Exports, being the company name, and then he said this is Stephanopoulos.
I was just hoping.
Oh, yeah.
I was hoping.
I know. Maybe he might be the owner. Who knows?
He could, Mr. Moglai.
Can you be our new NPC on our ship? Because that would be fun.
Yeah, Oscar says, we saw your posting. We're leaving the sector shortly. Obviously, we require more details before we can agree.
Ah, yes. I got a transport. Needs to go to Daybreak Enterprises, and you hear like a shuffling of paper as he's like, hold on, let me get the where is it? Yeah, Haldis. That's the place it needs to go.
All this is
0103.
0103. That looks pretty.
That's on the way.
Convenient. Okay, so he said, "Wait, is Haldis one of those ones that's like on lockdown?"
So, no. So
Haldis
is that's the homeworld of the Daybreak Enterprises.
Okay, that's their.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's their like. It's So let me find it here so I can get to the actual information.
TL4 some pre-tech. Like the sound of that.
Yeah, heavy industry. And essentially, the entire planet has been like gutted and made into a giant factory. Essentially, the Daybreak Enterprises like owns the planet, and they like basically turned every available surface into a factory of some sort. Because they produce probably like where the manufacturing of the ship occurs at Westwind. They probably refine the materials that Westwind uses.
Totally. Yep.
Yeah. But in addition to that, like they work with everybody in the system essentially.
That's more what I was hoping for than not.
Yeah.
Like we're not going to piss anyone off if we do a mission for these folks. So he says, "Oh, excellent. That's not far off our planned route. What is the take?"
We got quite a few tons of material that needs to head out. Only thing that needs to happen is it needs to be deconned before we transfer it over.
We most certainly have the cargo space. What are we looking at for compensation?
Depends on how much you can take. We probably got more than you can offer, unless you brought a trucking ship here. I'm not really sure.
What can we take?
I was about to say, are we all looking at the ship now?
Yeah, right.
Also, how large is friggin' Kami?
Yeah, so Kami's Kami does not weigh
not that big.
a whole lot, but Kami takes up space is like the bigger problem.
We can surround her with protective ore.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems great.
The
nanites can just use all that ore.
Well, I was thinking more we can feed someone on the way back to
of a brand new Kami.
103.
Yeah, maybe Stanley likes whatever they're about to give you.
He did say that it was Red 5.
So not this this is not Red 5 that he's talking about.
Oh,
no.
That's
that's another one. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a different planet. But
I've got all the notes.
So Freddy McFreightface has what 60 tons?
60 tons.
Yeah, 60 tons. So you guys could take probably about, just because of space requirements, like 55 tons of material, and just load yourselves down.
Yeah.
And so the general, let me open up my little chart here so I can tell you like the average take for what they're telling you this is. Let me find it.
Well, while you're looking that up, to the crew, are we? It kind of half sounds like we're planning an expedition, but
right. Do you want to fill your coffers right now,
or because we have one completed mission and one milk run here, hopefully?
Well. Okay. See, this is where my player and my character differ. Arthur is probably very dead set. Yeah, he's very dead set on doing this now.
Okay.
And see, Gogo wants to complete our missions. Like,
But
she wants to get paid, and she does not want to go back into some crazy artifact mission again.
Sure. So I think Oscar, believe it or not, is on Gogo's side on this one, as much as he wants to go.
Can we get that in writing?
He needs money. He needs money, not the potential for it. So as much as he wants to go off adventuring, I think the practical, the pragmatic side of Oscar kind of is going to nudge him toward taking, whatever missions they can complete on the way and hitting up Westwind,
getting your big payout,
getting the payout, and not risking, becoming embroiled in things that they can't deal with.
Okay, so I'm gonna try something.
Mm-hmm. Your skill check worked.
I don't know that I care about that. I'm gonna be. I think we've run into this before. Not in this game, but like I don't know how much stock I put in. Yeah. Persuade checks.
A skill check player versus player is not really going to. It's whether or not that player wants to care about it or not. If they don't, then they don't.
Yeah.
I mean, make Fortune's case.
Yeah. I'm like, well, that ore will be there. It's a mining operation. They're always mining more ore. We can always make that run whenever we want. So we can look at the stuff that's on the planet now, and then get on, or once we're done with this, come back, pick up the ore, make our run, and then deliver to Westwind. And then we don't have to come back here. It'll save us some time now, so that we don't have to make a run all the way back here just to look at the opposite side of an uninhabited planet.
So
time does matter, right? Like,
yeah. So Oscar says you realize you just suggested looking at half of a planet. We are on a time scale. Westwind will not wait forever for this.
We don't look at the whole half of the planet. We can narrow down where some things would probably have been.
He says, I feel that we should complete our missions and come back at our leisure. If we find something, we will want to dedicate our full resources to collecting it. No?
But we could use all those resources now? It's just because we have something for Westwind, not saying that we're not going to deliver it, doesn't mean that we can't use resources we have now to find what we're at, or to search where we're at now.
Your name is on the ship's bill, not mine.
Oh, that's right. Me and Boomer signed for that.
Yeah. You and Boomer on the ship that you're now defunct a month and 2 months of maintenance on.
All right. Did I sway?
I don't.
Gogo at all?
Oh, your pilot's leaving without you. Like, just so we're clear, she's leaving in about 24 hours, and if you're not going with her, then you can spelunk by yourself. Like, yeah, she's all about completing her transport mission. That is literally what her job is, and like none of that is going to sway her opinion. Although, you might think otherwise.
I think, yeah, Oscar just says, I will remain neutral in this, but I think it would behoove us to complete our current missions before scouting.
Also,
scouting any new areas.
A thing to note: the sector's really big. This is probably not the only opportunity you're going to have to explore unknown locations in search of pre-tech gear. It is a good option for sure, but it is certainly, and I'm telling you this, not the only option.
Mm-hmm.
But we're already here.
True. Yeah, no, and that's a completely valid point, because
we don't have to travel to search somewhere else.
It's already going to
here.
Yeah,
but I mean, how many times have we already been up in this area before, though? Even just from this one little game.
A couple times.
Right. So it's not like it takes us forever to get back here.
Yeah.
We've been up in this area at least 3 times already. What's the odds to say that we wouldn't be back up here again in just another session,
Yeah, so it's 21 days with your current capabilities back to West.
Session would be pushing it, but it's likely that we will
mission. Sorry, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, again, like just to note, it's 21 days with your current Spike 2 drive back to Westwind. So it would.
You got a really good pilot. It's fine. We'll be back.
It would kind of be out of the way unless you were already here making money on a mission. But again, if you make a good contact at the you take the mining job, you could always come back here for another mining job.
True.
And continue to run that. You guys could just become full-time fucking miner haulers.
That could be.
That
could be our run.
Yeah, that could be our consistent money maker.
Yeah. I mean, that's totally valid. He said that they have more than we could possibly take.
Yeah.
So
they're looking for space truckers, but if anybody else wants to take some, that's cool.
I mean, it's going to take us, 3/4 of a month to get back to Westwind. It's not the end of the world if we take a couple of days to, that's in terms
but what
of
if
these
someone
sort of
else
missions.
searches it first?
No. I'm trying to agree with you, sir.
Oh, okay.
At the end of the day, playing not devil's advocate, but fortune's advocate, I suppose.
Not too far off.
Maybe both. If it's only a couple of days, that's kind of a drop in the bucket compared to what we've already been through. And, I'm pretty sure we're going to march in there and ask for hazard pay first. So we've already got kind of an angle to get compensated appropriately for this. I don't think it's that big of a deal. However, I still want to go back and deliver this fucking thing. My vote is still
also
go back.
The nature of this thing would constitute wanting to probably get it off your hands sooner rather than
we don't
later.
really want an AI just
and
sitting
not necessarily
on the ship.
because it's a fault to you, but word of what happened will probably travel, and it'd be better to beat the word traveling than to spend what could be an extra jump or an extra whatever exploring something here, and then all of a sudden,
Sure, we could wind up with word traveling and find a blockade of pirates at some planet that we intend to go to, bent on stealing this thing from us.
Hey,
and then
we heard you have some rare TL5 technology that we want.
That's a big component of it too. I think we just need to wash our hands of this thing before it or others become a problem to us.
I think that finally hit Fortune, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because, the other deal is...
It was going to be really hard to convince Fortune to leave this planet without searching it, and I think that might have done it.
Yeah, I mean, think about all the witnesses, right? There's all those researchers back on the planet.
People are going to talk.
Plus Claris Group.
Right, Claris Group is well aware, and, you're the kind of the barrier to them right now, but that's not to say that there are not... maybe there's spies in the Claris Group. We know they don't have the best relations with everybody.
I mean, there were spies in the Barba Society, so...
Right, exactly. It's reasonable to assume that if somebody got the right word and sent the right word to somebody, hey, there's a small, unarmed, essentially, freighter carrying a highly classified highly, good piece of technology somewhere, we should probably intercept that. And that's the whole point of you guys going, is to be small, agile, and undetected.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think maybe once the conversation between them all rounds around to this point, Oscar just, kind of claps Fortune on the shoulder and says, "We'll be back. I want to investigate this as much, perhaps more, than you do."
I begrudgingly agree, but I will be watching the windows the whole time we leave.
Yeah. And Boomer walks into the room.
We could have been right there.
Boomer walks into the room like, "Hey, I'm really hungry and I haven't eaten in like 24 hours. Does anybody have any food?" And he like collapses from exhaustion, from not sleeping, not eating or anything, just observing all the technology and stuff. So the mining operation, your payout will be 5,500 credits. If you were to take
100 per ton.
Basically, yeah, because it's 10%. It's the 10% commission, right? Like, it sells for more than that, but they're not just gonna like. You're not selling it. You're just transporting.
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
While we're at it, I'm also going to call the religious entity that said that they had the artifact, because that can't possibly take up 55 tons worth of.
Yeah. So I think you call them, and when you get on the phone, you're greeted by a pleasant woman's voice, and she says, "Thank you for calling the Church of Creationism. How may I direct your call today?"
Says, is there a classified? Who do we speak to about career missions?
I read your listing about the transportation that we require. Stand by one moment, please. And you hear like a couple of like beep boop beep beep as she like transfers you somewhere, and you hear again traditional like brrring, brrring. And another woman picks up the phone. She says, "Hello, this is Rwanda."
Oscar says, he reiterates, we're calling about your listing for the transport of the relic.
Yes, that is good. The nature of this is quite sensitive, and I would much like to speak with you in person, as the relic, well, he's quite testy.
He?
Well, yes, indeed. The relic. Surely you must know.
In our line of business, the less I know, the better.
Well, that sounds like a perfect fit for us. The relic, he is our spiritual leader. He requires transportation to go to another system.
May I ask which, before we meet in person?
I think that, like, for a moment you hear her, like, cover the receiver, right? So you can hear, like, just muffled. Can't understand the words that are being said. Yes, I'm being informed that that's much more likely a conversation we'd like to have in person. You understand the sensitive nature of this. The travel for, and I assume that you are a no-like, but the travel for our kind off planet is, well, quite restrictive and monitored.
We will likely be able to accommodate this. When is the soonest you can meet?
As soon as you can get here.
Let's say that I've had this on speakerphone, and the rest of the crew is aware of the situation.
What are you eating now?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I don't know. What did it sound like? Oh.
That was just licking his mic. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, I mean, whatever.
Moving along. So Oscar kind of looks to looks to the three of them and says, can we, he probably mutes the compad briefly and says, do we do this?
See if they can tell us our compensation. That shouldn't be a classified thing. That's not mission OPSEC, operational security, necessary.
Yes. He unmutes it. Well, okay, so out of character, unless I know where
to collect a lot of humans.
It's kind of beside the point. If it doesn't matter how much or how little they're going to pay us, if the mission parameters are completely unrealistic. So he was kind of not that concerned about it.
Right. If it's literally on the way, we'll take 10 credits because we're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
But if they're paying us 50,000 credits, I'm way more willing to say, yeah, we can meet with them. But if they only say it's only 10 credits, I'm like, then we don't even need to meet with them. We have something that can fill up all our Kogo. Let's just get out of the way or get out of here.
Are we currently headed back to...
That's up to Gogo. Gogo, where have you been driving them this whole time?
I'm going back to my... No. I've been going back to my ship since we got in the car.
Car's just been running and still sitting in the parking lot of the facility.
Oscar
I
asks,
assume...
where are you located?
So the address is with the contact information.
Jordan, where is that relative to our ship?
It would take maybe 30 minutes to get there, inconsequential amount of time to get to where they need to
be. He just shows the address to Gogo and says, he mutes the phoning again and says, "I will make this quick."
Sigh and eye roll, neither of which you can catch because of the mask.
Immediate U-turn and everybody flies out the windows.
Slam on brakes.
Yeah.
Huge U-turn, and then goes towards.
She
even though I don't know how I would know where it is, but that's fine. I would follow your.
So
map.
there's modern day GPS.
There's got to be some sort of map.
There's probably a navigation system in the car. Again, this is TL3, right? This isn't like it was on Paphos, where y'all are fucking throwing darts at maps and figuring out where the fuck to get there. This is it's like today's technology. There's navigation systems and stuff that
they have better GPS than we do.
Yeah.
So
basically, yeah.
Sure. So pop it into the nav and.
Yep. Yeah. And fly off. And I think that's a perfect place to we get the zoom outs of the car driving down the highways. And you see the city, and it kind of pans up, and we see the giant spire with that. Now we can see it though because we've seen it up close, so now we can visibly tell that the glass bubble is moving slightly. It's rotating and slowly swerving in place, and that's where we fade to black when we see that.
Nice.
Cool.
Sweet.
Cool. Well, it was a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah.
You guys made it 1 hex. Congratulations.
But we finally did that thing that Fortune wanted to do 2 months ago.
We did one
and so
Fortune wanted to do.
The other interesting thing
he wanted to go to the archive.
True.
We'll do the other things that he wants to do some point.
Yeah, the other thing I think that when you guys were on your way to the planet of Death Lizardmen was the living starport. That was which is also where you were born, right, Fortune? Fatine?
Claris group thing?
No, Fatine. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the other interesting point of sector-wide stuff.
I've got 3 other places I want to visit.
Yeah.
One being Priam, one Valgard, and one Tozar.
You guys just have to get rich so that you can go do whatever you want to do.
I'm trying to get us rich.
I'm not.
Some people want to just go find caves that may or may not have anything in them.
Hey, what we find in the caves may make us way more rich than whatever we're doing
it's
now.
It's the risk versus reward. You guys are on two other opposite ends of the spectrum. Simple, reliable jobs, and not so simple, possibly no payout, wasting our time, but with the chances to make millions.
I'm all for the latter of those two, but we're already behind on the ship.
That's true.
And
yeah. So, like, a good thing to know, like, by the time you make it to Westwind, you'll be, like, if you go straight to Westwind without wasting any other days, you'll make it there on the 28th, which means that you will be 2 days or 3 days shy of them just taking it out of your cut. Their payment.
Yeah.
So, that's another consideration. But cool, awesome. I'm gonna meet you guys. Thanks for showing up. Devin, yes, by the way, to answer.
Okay, cool.
But I'm gonna meet you guys. I'm gonna do outro. Peace.
all right.
Hello, stream. Thanks for showing up today. I appreciate it. Appreciate all of your support and awesomeness. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you again. It was great. It was fantastic. It was a lot of fun. Not a super exciting session, but we got a lot of lore and a lot of cool shit going on. We got a couple other missions lined up for them to do on the way back. It appears to Westwind Corporation. So hope you all enjoyed. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again on Friday for some Siege. So that's great. Awesome. I love you all. I'll talk to you later. Bye.